podcast. We are going to have an amazing show today. That's because we have an amazing guest. That's because you're here and you're amazing. So we're going to have a good time. Do me a favor, light up the comment section. Let me know that you're here. Type in the word here and also tell me what state or city or now country that you're listening to the show from, and share the stream with your friend. This is going to be a really good show. Hey, what's up? I'm Tony Taylor. Are you here for Leaders Lead the podcast? Let's go. Hey, how did you beat me? Look, let me tell you about this podcast. We got like 5 seconds. Leaders Lead the podcast is about leadership. Not just the leader without, but the leader within. All of these leaders that I'm talking to across the country, well, across the world now, they have one thing in common, and that's that they have overcome some insurmountable obstacles to get to where they're at today. Come on, let's go. Hey, welcome to Leaders Lead the podcast. I am super excited for tonight's live show. I have, somebody that's amazing. I've been looking at a story for the past week, and I got to tell you, man, the videos that I've seen, dude, it's like touched my heart like no other. This is going to be my favorite guest. I say that every show, but Reggie Walker, former NFL player. His leadership is second to none. His leadership is so good that for 7 straight years, he was the team captain on some of the biggest NFL teams that have ever played, some of the best that have ever played. He's played with some of the best. Reggie is an author. Reggie is a TEDx speaker. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's done 2 TED Talks, right? I want to ask Reggie about that because I'm trying to do my first TED Talk. So I would love to get some information from Reggie about that. I also want to know about the other things that Reggie is doing. Reggie is an advocate for mental and physical abuse. Man, I cannot do it. His story any justice. So I'm going to play you this clip before I bring Reggie on.
It's just with you. I've had experienced heaven too now. I go to my kid's soccer game, and my oldest daughter's soccer game, and I remember she stole the ball from a girl, and then it was like out of a movie. Like she kicked it, jumped over a girl, and then kicked it in for a goal, like her first goal. And then she turns and looks at me, and she was just like, oh my God. And she was just like, so happy. And she just looked right at me. And I was just like sitting there like I didn't even know what to do. But like right then and there, I was like, everything was worth it. Like, just to like see her face, and then she knows that I'm there because I was never there because I had to play football all the time. But it like broke me. Like I remember just sitting there like, don't cry, dude. Like, don't cry. Like, dude, we're still at a game. Like, don't cry. But when we left, we were pulling out of the complex, I just couldn't hold it. I started just like crying in front of everybody, like my 2 girls and my wife. And she was like, why are you crying? And I was like, because I'm so happy. I'm so grateful that I'm here, that I didn't kill myself, that my kids know I'm there for them, that I got to experience this. Like, I was so grateful, so thankful.
Oh, man. All right. I'm going to bring up Reggie. Welcome, Reggie Walker.
Hey.
Dude. I should have started us off with that clip.
Man, that one always gets me every time, man. I can't even tell the story without choking up.
Yeah, I can't watch it without doing it, man. You're talking about your kids and being there for your kids, and it sounded like you had dealt with some stuff with mental health, with you not being here, but you looking at your kids and just being like damn man, I'm happy to be here with and for him. And that moment, like, it might sound small to some people, bro, but dude, I felt you, man. I felt you.
Oh, I appreciate that. And it was, you know, I was at a really bad time. Like I was in such a bad place when that happened. And it was the exact thing that I just needed in that moment of time, especially given the fact that at the time I didn't know what I was just setting out on a path that I wanted for myself. And as a lot of people know, it's when you're transitioning and jumping into something new, there's a lot of self doubt, a lot of negative emotions that pop up. Plus, I was dealing with myself for the first time.
Mhm.
All the trauma that I went through, being mentally, physically, sexually abused, all the trauma that I went through trying to make it as a professional athlete and going through college, and it was dealing with some really horrible situations.
Yeah.
And then at that period of time, I didn't know, I was just questioning everything, and I was at one of my lowest points. And then just seeing that happen in front of me, it was just like a sign that you made the right decision. You did the right thing, and you're gonna be fine. Like this is what you're here for, and it was just a great moment for me.
Wow. Is in that moment, were you looking for a sign?
No, to be honest, I was pretty suicidal at the time. I was really suicidal, um, and it was like that thing that just it was just what I needed, just what.
Wow.
So yeah, it's hard to watch that and not like choke up and get emotional about it because I was in a even thinking about it, I still remember where I was at because I was so low. But it's those little things. It's just man, that's why it's even when I talk to people and people who are hurting real bad, I tell them to go out there and go have experiences, and because I know it doesn't take much to just kind of get you out of there. That little perspective change, and that's what I needed. Is I just needed to get confirmation that I made the right decision, and I didn't get it until that moment. So, but I never would have experienced that if I didn't put myself in the position to have that moment. So, and that was from a great friend of mine, Ryan Harris. When I was in retirement and transitioning, one of the big things he told me was just say yes to everything. Trust
Mm.
me. Just say yes to everything. And then it's like looking back at it now, it's like you, you got to keep putting yourself out there
Yeah.
and to even give yourself a chance. So, that's one message I just kind of try to preach with people, and that was one of the messages behind the video.
Yeah. What year was that when you had that breakthrough moment?
Um, phew, that had to be 6 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, 6 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You said something that hit me. You said that you had finally began to start looking at you.
Mhm.
Finally, like, what did that look like as far as, you doing the work, you doing the healing on your own?
Get well. First of all, I had to get to a point where because at the period of time I was done playing, I had a lot of money in the bank. I could just sit here and just really think things over. And then I was 27 at the time, and because everything was go 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 up that period of time, I never had a chance to really think about things like why I was doing the things that I was doing, and what goals was I trying to get outside of just being a football player to make myself happy. Outside of that, I didn't have anything, so I had to go through a period of what I did was I sat in a cave for 3 years, and I literally every single day I woke up and I just started playing things over again in my head, and objectively. And I started looking at the good and bad of both situations. And instead of just this was just good, this was just bad, trying to get both sides of it so I could get to the full picture of something. because I realized my perspective because of the trauma was heavily tainted towards the negative.
Yeah.
Very negative. Even when I got done playing football, I felt no sense of accomplishment because all I could see was the negative. That's the thing that's always driven me. I've never been driven off positive energy. That's not been my thing. And up to that point, I realized that the damage it had done from just it's like poison. You go off that negative. No one believes in me. I only got myself. Team me. Um, that mentality wears you down over time. And then when I retired, I was fully in that and I wanted to get out of it. So I started looking at things objectively and I started playing things apart. And then I started thinking while I was doing this, how could I have done that better? What could I have done? So in the future, I get the lesson and I don't make the same mistake again. So to be honest, this period, it was very brutal because when you're looking at the objective truth of yourself, knowing that was my fault. I didn't get that. I didn't get that or achieve that thing because that was me. That was completely on me. That was not them. That was not something else. It was on me and how I was viewing things. And that it made me really start understanding everything starts with perspective. When I have a negative perspective, I put out negative results. And then my lack of belief in myself was a detriment to my success. I hindered myself
Yeah.
from my negative thoughts of myself and my capabilities and not believing in myself, not having confidence in myself. And I wanted to have confidence, but I wanted confidence that was built on a solid foundation. So I didn't lie to myself about my strengths or my weaknesses. And getting to that point where you can objectively do that is very difficult. And that's why I had 2 center stays. That's why I did a ton of therapy. I used a lot of resources. But at the same time, when I made this step into finding objective truth about my own life, I did not deny myself the truth, no matter how brutal it was.
Wow.
Because I realized if I'm gonna get through this pain, like I have to understand what it is. I gotta feel it. I gotta do it. I gotta know what the problem is to fix the exact problem. And it was brutal. That's why I always tell people about like healing, especially from these deep rooted traumas. It will be a brutal process,
It's
but
hard work. Yeah, it's hard work, right?
it's very hard work.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, there's like I know that the viewers and the listeners, they're probably asking themselves, you just got out of the league, just got done playing, had a tremendous career. I mean, I've played you on Madden before I switched on and off of you, right? I'm gonna tell you, one of the good linebackers, that played for the Chargers, right?
No,
I wish your rating was a little. They made your rating a little bit higher on that. That kind of pissed me off.
I see that.
But
It made me mad.
but one would probably be thinking, here this man just got done with a tremendous career. Like, what could possibly be freaking eating him up? Like you say, you have money in the bank, right? And the reason that I'm asking this is because I talked to quite a few people, and they're just like, you know, money will buy me happiness. They don't come right out and say it, but you could just tell by the moves that we make in society. We feel like money will buy us happy, and here we are looking and listening to your story, and it proves that money will not make you happy.
I think it's crazy. I think it's the message what I'm about to say is something that's been echoed by tons of people with money who have made huge accomplishments in life. What I'm about to say is not anything different than what they're saying. You just don't know until you get put into the situation. And the thing is, money will not bring you happiness. It can bring you a certain degree of happiness, 100%, because you got your needs met, you can buy stuff, you can do things, and we need money to do things. So and live the lives we want to live. But once you get to that point, because you only need so much, that's the big thing. Like we're sold, we need to be millionaires, billionaires to be happy and all that. You don't. You just need enough and enough for you. And the thing is about that, once you get to that point, even if you have a lot of money, it's not like like a like a drug that you can just ingest in your system, and then happiness will become all over me. If you're a mentally unstable, terrible, like, not, I wasn't a terrible person, but I was mentally unstable. I was depressed. I was solely playing football to find happiness. What I was directing my energy towards when it came to finding happiness was not the right things, and I was living this out because all the money did was just give me a lot of ability to fill the void. So like when I first went into the league, I went shopping every day. That's all I did. I just went shopping every day, and then I would go shop, and then I'd get that, that hit. The what is the dopamine? I'm not a big chemical guy, but I'd get it, that whole rush, like this feels great, and then I'd go home, put the stuff aside, and then bloop, right back into depression.
Detailed.
Because, and then the thing is too, because I say all the time, I played football solely because I thought it was going to bring me happiness. Period. Like, forget all the football gods and appeasing them and being a Hall of Famer. No, I thought football was going to make me happy because I was miserable for long periods of my life, and football was the only thing that gave me that joy. So I thought becoming a professional athlete would make me happy. So then when I became a professional athlete and I was still miserable, at that point, it like broke me because I was like, nothing's going to make me happy. I am doomed to be miserable forever. So it really rattled me. That's the thing, and it's crazy because there's so many people who just wish for the money and really believe this. We've been sold this message, but I'm telling you, you're gonna get the money. You're gonna realize it's gonna be great for a while, and then the realness is gonna come hit you right in the face. I'm not living my life how I want. I'm miserable. I'm a slave to this job. I'm a slave to vanity. I'm a slave to all these things that aren't coming from me. You have to live from yourself and the reasons you want to do things. Like, for instance, I would ask guys in the NFL, why are you here? And more times than not, it wasn't because I want to be a Hall of Famer or be the best football guy. It's like, no, I want to make my family happy. I want to do this for them. Or everyone told me I was good at this. But it's never really a reason coming from them most of the time. But the people who have that, they know that those are the better ones. Is this a mentality? Everyone's good. Everyone can play. Everyone's fast. Everyone's big. What separates you? And it's the reason why you're there in the first place.
Wow. The reason why you're there, that's funny that you say that, because you were one of the top collegiate, not just in football, but top collegiate athletes, right? Going into college, coming out of college. And it's funny that you say that the separation is purpose. That's what I'm hearing.
It's
Right.
solely purpose. Solely.
And that wasn't your purpose, the NFL.
Yep, solely. Because everyone's big, everyone's strong, everyone can play, everyone has talent, everyone has skills. What's going to make me beat you at the end of the day? And the thing is, I want it more than you. And where does that energy come from? My purpose for being here in the first place. And when I was lining up against people, I was looking at it like, you're keeping happiness from me. So you're going against me with this mentality. And the only people that are going to really compete against me are people who have a purpose as big as mine. And I won way more than I lost. But I also lost too. There were some cats out there that had a way bigger purpose than me and let me know it.
Hey, Reggie, you were a killer, bro. You were a killer.
You're gonna lose sometimes.
Hey, you were a killer, man. I'm gonna show this clip, man, and because I want the audience to see you at work. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, you're gonna have to catch the stream on YouTube. This is some good stuff. This is my brother Reggie Walker giving Luke Tasker, turning this human being into a freaking real live helicopter. You remember that play?
I do remember it, actually.
Dude, it's like one of the top plays that they're saying almost in NFL history. Check it out.
Of the NFL, he also does one of the best Molly hatchets you've ever heard.
All right. Tasker under it, fields it at the 7-yard line. Oh, he gets nailed by Reggie Walker. Helicoptered after the hit by Walker.
Well, you want to know what that feels like? Go ahead. Have your neighbor put a trash can over you out in your driveway, and then have them gun you to the ground.
9 years into a TV show.
You literally turned that dude into a helicopter.
Oh
So,
man.
so if that wasn't, how does that make? First of all, how does that make you feel looking at that?
It's like a different time. I'm so
Different
different.
time,
I am such a different person. I
different
look at
person?
that and I was just like, I remember distinctly what I was thinking, what I was going through, who I was, and I'm so different than that. I love who I am more now than I did then, for sure.
Wow.
Like
Really?
I know now. I didn't know then.
What do you know now that you didn't know then?
I know myself, and I know, and my purpose behind doing things is coming from a way more stable source. Then it was I look at it as just pure chaos. Like I look at myself internally, I was barely keeping it together. You know, like basically on the verge of just going completely psychotic. And that's something I look back at it and I was like, man, I was really close then. And it's something that led me to retiring because that's another reason why I tell people just it sucks and it'll be a brutal process, but you need to deal with your stuff so you can move past it, establish a plan, execute it, get it done. It's gonna suck, but you need to do it because, um, it, man, doing things for the wrong reasons, you can't get that time back.
Yeah.
You really can't. So there's a regret too. But at the same time, I'm glad that I went through it because I wouldn't have really known
Do
what I
you
wanted until I really experienced what I didn't want
right? Do
clearly.
you is the regret about football or is it about dealing with your stuff sooner? Like what is the
Dealing with myself sooner because I would have had a way different football career if it was for that. I probably wouldn't have played as long. Um, Definitely wouldn't have played as long. And then when I actually played, I would have had fun with it because I didn't. It's crazy. I look back at it, and I didn't have fun with it at all, like at all. It's because when you're in this environment where it's your job is hanging on a thread every day. I don't care if you have a 5-year, $50 million contract. This is what a lot of people don't know about this. It is a day-to-day job, no matter what your contract is. And
yeah
they will pay to get you out of there. Trust me, seen it a million times. And the thing is, you can get out of this environment and never be in again off anything. You can just be around a mistake. Seen that too, lots of times. Guys getting cut just by being around the person making a mistake. So you're on edge. You're on edge all the time, and this is
guilty by association, right?
so you're on edge all the time, and um, and then like I was telling you, you're competing against people who have very high purpose for why they're there. And this is not it's a game, but how people are taking it, the reason why they're even there and successful is it's not a game to them. Like
Yeah.
this is war out here, and it's me against you, and you're taking food out of my kid's mouth, and I'll be damn sure you're not going to take kids out of my mouth, move food out of my kid's mouth, and this is how I'm playing against you, so that and you're in this environment competing in this all the time,
Wow.
so it does something to you after a while.
Yeah.
And if I could have just gone into it with a clear head, I would have gotten more out of it. But I got everything I wanted out of it at the end of the day. I'm still a really great strategist and planner, so that saved me. But yeah, I would have had a better head, and I would have maximized even more if I had a better head going into it.
How many years did you play?
7.
7. Okay. Wow. So you were team captain for all 7 years that you played.
No, I was a team captain at a period of time in Arizona. But the thing was, I was always a leader wherever I went. And the thing was, I was always one of the people that was a big reason why we were either successful or not successful. So
Right.
I played a major role in everything. So I look back at it and, that's great and all, like playing and doing all that. But at the end of the day, I look back, and the thing that I feel most gives me most joy is knowing that everybody I played with or against respect me because they know I came to play and I was not a bum.
Right.
So at the end of the day, that's the only thing I really care about looking at that situation. Like, got my respect, great. I know I could compete with them, great.
I
Next
love
thing.
it. I
Mhm.
love it. Roz Lowe says the way that it was set up, it sounds like you're a gladiator. And of course, we know gladiators fight against other people. But before a gladiator can go out and fight the fight, right? And fight the fight under the lights, they need to fight the fight within their own might. What was it exactly that you were dealing with that you felt like needed healing?
Phew. I had been sold a narrative for years that I was nothing, that I was stupid, that my opinion doesn't matter, that I'm not as capable as I think I am, which led me to, and this narrative was hammered into me constantly, especially by the situation in college. And then growing up, it was there too, but especially when I got to college, it was constantly hammered into me. You're not shit. You are not shit. You're not anything. You're nothing. You're nothing to us. You have nothing to offer. And then eventually, at first, you fight it, but then you hear it every day, 365. And I heard it for 3 years. Eventually, it starts seeping in. And then you start believing it. And it crushed my confidence. I had no confidence. It's crazy that I even did a lot of things I did because I can tell you, I did not have confidence doing it. I was fully not confident. I was not confident in my ability. I was going out there, well, let's see. I was curious. Like, I don't know how this is going to play out, but I feel like I'm more than nothing. Let's go see. And because I had no confidence,
Yeah.
and I wish I had confidence when I was going through. I have it now. Definitely didn't have it then. And I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe in my abilities. I didn't trust in how I saw things too. And because I've been gaslit for so long too, so it really messed my reality up. And it's
Gaslit, you mean as far as like earlier, like in your child during that time in your childhood?
well, in my childhood and then as well as college. College was a very impactful time for me, especially given after Snyder left my first year, we got a new coach. And for 3 years straight, I dealt with somebody every day. I walk into the meetings, they try to make a fool out of me. They try to turn a good team against me. They point out how stupid and worthless and how terrible I am.
Oh no.
Um, Belittled me, just made me feel like I was nothing every day for 3 years. And I look back at it and I'm still surprised that I got through it. And then the fact that I even got to the NFL after that is just crazy because I never started more than half a season in college because they hated me, but they had
Why?
to.
Why would anybody hate you, man? Hey, we just met a few months ago and I love you, my brother. Why would anybody hate you?
Well, in a football environment, they don't like questions. Um,
Mm,
they don't like questions. You do this because I told you to do it, and that's it. Don't ask questions. Just do what we tell you to do. But I'm a thinker. I'm an overanalyzer.
sounds like
So
corporate America.
yeah. So when they ask us to do certain things, and if it made sense, I mean, if they didn't make sense, I would ask them, why are we doing this when this A, B, C, D, and E are happening? And they didn't like that. They did not like that because I know football and I know situations and I'm really educated in football and as well as other things. But football, I knew how things work, especially, and they did not like that about me. They did not like I was a threat. And then the fact too that I would point stuff out, like and they didn't like that either because you're questioning their authority. It's a very authoritative environment. So the people who are going to really thrive in it the most are the people who don't question anything. They just do what they're told the best that they can. And I was never that guy. Like I need to know why I'm doing something. And if it doesn't make sense, you need to explain to me why this makes sense. Or how you're seeing things. And they didn't want to take that time. So they're just like, screw this guy.
He's
And then
dumb. You must be dumb if you're asking questions, right?
oh yeah.
That
It
don't
was
make no
crazy. It
sense.
was crazy, and I was the only person who knew the defense, which was crazy. I knew the defense better than the coaches, so they really hated that too.
Wow.
Because they couldn't not play me, and they didn't want to play me because I knew things better than them. And then when I played, I balled. So you look at my film, and my film is like I did amazing things in college. You'll see me get a sack or a strip sack or knock someone out or do something crazy, and then the next play I wouldn't be on the field because they hated me that much. They couldn't give it to me, the satisfaction. Oh yeah. People think this like football is all about talent. Hell no. Especially once you get out of high school. It is very political. And you need
Yeah.
to know how people work, how situations work, how to maximize yourself, how to protect yourself because they're not going to protect you.
Yeah, but you and that's interesting that you were going through so much adversity, right? You're going through so much adversity, but you still were able to get through it, man. You lasted 7 years in the NFL. I was looking at the stats and they say the average career in the NFL is friggin' 3 months.
Yeah, and I left on my own terms too.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of things. It was something a lot of people can't say, but it was one of those things. Like I'm glad that I got to tell them no, and they didn't kick me out. I told them no, and I'm glad that I was able to do that because, you know, dealing with a situation that was just not what you think it is. And then finally making the decision to take your power back and live life on your own and really take that risk because quitting football was a risk because I could still be playing today. It's just, I knew it was my time. I knew I didn't love it anymore. I knew football wasn't going to make me happy, but at that period of time, I wanted to find out what actually was, and I sold out to find that.
Wow. What about so like football definitely, right? And what was not your purpose.
Uh-uh.
What do you feel like was your is your purpose was or is your purpose right now?
Helping people to find themselves, to awake to themselves. I always try to point people towards themselves. You know, with one of my business partners, I talk about, I want to activate as many people as possible because as you could probably attest to, most people don't know why they're doing most of the things that they're doing. Like they could write a list and just I do this, I do A, B, C, D, and E, and could not tell you why they're doing it. They're just doing things. They're just trying to get from day to day. And then most people are miserable out here, especially in the real world, real life, the job force, all that. Most people are miserable. And you understand because most people aren't really living from their own purpose, the one that they've taken the time to find and really understand within themselves. They haven't done that. So I like to directing people towards themselves because I really feel and understand at this period of time, the world would be a much better place. I really believe it if more people were just walking in purpose. They knew why they're doing what they're doing. They had a plan, they had a structure, they knew how to deal with themselves mentally and emotionally. And I want to help people to understand how to do that. Because it's a painful process to understand, to really find out yourself, but it's so empowering. Because you're not walking out on fake confidence, whether your confidence is embedded in the amount of money you have or the job you have or the people around you or the relationships you have. No, your confidence comes from yourself and your abilities and what you know about yourself. And to me, after going through this, I've never been stronger when it's come to things, and I've never been better because of that. And I've succeeded at a very quick rate, even in my transition, because I know this about myself very clearly, and I want to help people understand the same thing.
Sounds like you went on an excursion of friggin' soul searching. Tell me about the very important work that you do for mental and physical abuse because you do a lot of speaking and working with people that have been abused, correct?
Yeah, and I've kind of taken a little step back from it, just because, I wrote the book, The Game Within a Game. It's on Amazon, and I've been doing stuff to promote the book, and then I also wrote a course That's now in Forbes Business School. I know that I think we just finalized our partnership with Harvard and Stanford, and then it very soon it's going to be international as well. And I've been doing a lot of things to help get that up and going, and I only have so much energy. So it's just I've focused on those two things. When I get these things done, then I'm going to go back to speaking and open that back up. But that's been my main focus as of late.
Yeah. Yeah. Why that lane? Because I know you talked about like finding purpose, and that's what I speak on, finding purpose, because I went through, man, my whole life thinking that my purpose was one thing, and then just like you had that breakthrough moment and you're like, this is not my purpose. Same thing with me. uh Money in the bank, I had a president of a company basically telling me, hey, name your salary, and I went from making good gobs of money to making almost zero, but it felt so freaking good. You know what I'm saying?
It's not all about the money. And it's because once you're walking in that purpose, and even though it's fearful and you might be broke starting off, or you might be broke for a minute and you're gonna have to struggle, you're gonna be so glad that you're choosing this struggle because you realize you're gonna struggle regardless. Things are hard. To make it, it's gonna be tough regardless. But at least you're choosing the problems that you're gonna face. You're choosing the lane that you want to go to, and it's not coming from someone else, it's coming from you. So when you're dealing with all the trials and tribulations that's going to come with trying to succeed, you're going to have more energy to just deal with it. You're going to be it's going to increase your success rate because just like I tell you with football, like the reason why the difference between a high school, college, and NFL guy is purpose purely, and that's the big reason why I wrote the book because I wanted and wrote the accompanying course because I want to help as many people as possible. And when I sat down, I was thinking as far as a strategy to do this, I was thinking, well, I could get a book, put all the lessons into a book, have it like a manual that someone could just use and then just go back to as being a student athlete. They could just refer to this to help get this through them. So, because my main issue when I was going through college is you don't have anybody who really is showing you how to do the job, that's done it themselves. Most of the people who are telling you to do the job have not done it themselves. They don't understand you. They don't understand why you're here. They don't understand you at all. So, what the plans they're trying to tell you and the things they're trying to get you to do, it didn't work with you. It's just a bunch of baloney. So, at the end of the day, the people that you gravitate to the most are other people who know what they're doing. So, I wanted to make a book where I give them this knowledge. This is how you do the job. This is how you find purpose. This is how you find a plan. This is how you use what you know in this environment to be successful in something else. Because success principles are success principles, period. So I wanted to make that book, and then the course basically just goes into detail on how to do these things. And so the book and the course, I made it for student athletes, but it's also just for people because I use sports examples to solidify some of my points. But anybody, for the most part, even if they don't have football knowledge, are going to be able to understand what I'm talking about because the bigger thing about the course is it's a personal development course. Plain and simple. It's a manual on how to succeed during sports, but at its core, it's a personal development course. Because I understand if you get that part of this right, at your core, if you're right, you're going to be able to do whatever you want. You'll be
Yeah.
so.
So is that your favorite audience to speak to as far as the people that you like to help?
To be honest, my favorite environment to help are people who've gone through abuse. Um, it's because that's where my heart's at. I love student athletes and my heart's with them too. But the people who've gone through this abuse, it will always, I will always have that need to help them, especially doing the two treatment center stays where I'm here for a month each time and I'm there with drug addicts, people on heroin, big time drug problems, alcohol abuse, people with traumatic brain injuries, people who are just like me, suicidal, depressed. And then, you're around these people, and at their core, these people were just like me, severely abused, very traumatized. And I chose football to find happiness. They chose drugs, alcohol, sex, whatever it may be, but they just chose something else. But at their core, they're just like me. So those are the people who I relate to the most. So those are people I want to help the most. They got a special place in my heart.
Yeah, because I think in your book you talk about, or I seen some of the stories you talk about, some of the things that you went through when you were going through a kid as far as abuse, correct?
Mhm. Yeah, I talk a little bit about it. But I really wanted to make the book more about, like, it's a manual that you can come back to and get the knowledge from. You don't have to read it all at once. As you go through situations, like, here's a template on how to handle it, and
Yeah,
this is why you should use this template. Um, and but I also understood that most of the people, a ton of the people in these sports environments, these athletes, have gone through major traumatic situations, and a lot of them have gone through abuse. Just like when I was comfortable with talking about what happened to me when getting sexually abused, I wasn't really comfortable with saying it until maybe my fifth or sixth year in the league. And then when I started talking to other players on the team, that my I was shocked at their responses, because it was like 9 out of 10 people was the same thing happened to me, whether it
are
was
you
mental,
serious?
physical, or sexual abuse. It was everybody. And like I told you, with what separates us from college, high school, college, NFL is the reason why you're there. And I was there to be happy. And anybody who was in front of me was a barrier to that. And I saw it as life or death. This is, if I can't accomplish this job, I won't be happy. And I might as well die. So you're keeping me from that. And that's who you're competing against.
Yeah,
So, so, um, yeah. So to me, it's like 2 + 2 = 4. Of course, most of the people in this environment have been abused. Of course, most of the people in this environment have dealt with super traumatic stories. Most of the people say the stories. When you talk about, I came from a single parent home, mom and dad didn't have enough to put food on the table. I had dealt with this. This person died. This person got shot. We didn't have money for this. These are traumatic events, and you don't think that affects people. Like, that has big time implications. It's at your core. It rattles you. And um, so that's why I say I want to help people who have gone with abuse. And I say a little bit about the trauma and dealing with trauma in there, but I try to put it in there, so because I know who's
yeah,
reading it, and I know most of the people need to hear it, so I put it in there.
yeah, dude, you're a hero, bro. And I'm not talking about the stuff that you did on the football field, but just you stepping up and being an advocate for that, because I know that it's hard to talk about that stuff, especially when we're talking about abuse. But it sounds like you're helping others and also helping yourself in the work that you do.
Oh, it gives so much back to you. It really does. Um, Especially knowing you were there, and you can really empathize, and you can really relate. Like, how putting those shoes on feels like, how putting the pants on feels like, how it feels to walk in this, and you can actually give them legitimate help to, like, get this done, or at least point them in the right direction at the end of the day to get the help. But you know how to help them, and that you're in a position to really give them great help. And it's great to know that I can do that for so many people, especially knowing that there's so many people that need it. And I actually got myself out of it. And everything that I'm telling you to do, that's the same thing I've done. I've done everything that I wrote in a book. I had to go through it. I've known the good and the bad side of it. And so what I'm telling you is, it's very practical.
Yeah.
And I try to keep it that way.
Speaking of heroes, who is your hero? I'm just curious. Like, even if it was just growing up.
My hero,
Yeah.
to be honest, I've never really had a hero. I've never,
Really?
I've never really had too many mentors or people really, outside of, my parents and then some people every now and then for periods of time, I've never really had a mentor. So how I really went about it, the thing that I've always admired is qualities people have. Like, I want to be happy like this person. I want to be studious like this person. I want to be gracious like this person. I want to control my anger like this person. I've always admired things on that scale from people because I've always understood people to be both good and bad. Everyone is just different degrees. And, we're all, no, none of us are perfect. We're all good and bad. I can't get away from it. It's just, um, that's why I admire most. But as far as people that I would strive to be like, the only person I can think of is Da Vinci because to me he's one of the most impressive
Venti.
Da Vinci, because he was one of the most impressive human beings that ever existed. All the things that he's done in different disciplines. To me, that's what I would want to do. I want to have my hand in so many different areas of life and just be a boss and just kill it and crush it in so many different areas. And I feel like he kind of set the standard for that. So, it's something I would want to do.
Oh man, that's good stuff. I'm gonna answer a couple questions here before we take off. From Roslow, do you think helping others became your tool towards healing your own self worth or value? I know a brilliant young man battling this trauma and want to help him find his light.
It does. Um, have you ever heard that saying, if you really want to know, if you really know something, you should go teach it. And then
Mhm.
as you teach it, you really, really understand how to do it. It's kind of the same thing because when I started just helping people, I only told them what I just knew. If I didn't know it, I just pointed, you better talk to that person, or you need to go to this person, or you need to do this or do that. Um, but when I really started getting good at diving into my own self and my own trauma and why I did the same things, the things that I did and what works with me and why does it work with me? Like really, as I told you, I'm an overanalyzer of everything. And once I really went through that process, it made me more effective helping others because it really helped me to map out a strategy. If things happened, I had my pivots in place. And then as far as my approach to doing it, it, it made my approach more effective the more that I did it. So it really does help. And then the thing is, the people that helped me the most on my journey towards healing have been other people who have gone through it.
Mm.
They've all I've dealt with tons of therapists and people who have really good hearts, and some of them were really good at empathizing. Not a lot of them, but some of them. And but the people who have gone through it and know how it feels and can convey that to me and open that spot up with me to so I can start building that bridge to healing myself. Like those are the people who had the biggest impact. You know how I feel. You can empathize. I know you know what you're talking about when you're describing these things. I can trust you. And I didn't
Um,
trust anybody. So it really helped me.
that's interesting that you said that you used the word empathy as far as helping you get through the trauma, and I think that that's important. We talked, you and I actually, we talked about empathy on a panel that we were on.
Right.
We're speaking about Black men and mental health, and you want to break that down a little bit
As far as the plan or as far as what would you like me to break down?
as far as the importance of empathy when you're going through the things that you're going through. Like how did that help you, and how does that help the people that you help?
Oh my gosh. It's one of the
And I'm asking because that's one thing that I was telling my wife the other day, that that's one thing that I'm actually like give myself a pat on the back, because I didn't have too much empathy for people at one period of time in my life. And sometimes it takes a big humbling for you to get empathetic about certain situations. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And I've figured out that helping people and understanding them, not giving them sympathy because nobody wants our sympathy, but just some understanding, you know?
Right. That, you know, that me explaining my experience to you has value in your eyes, that you can understand how I would be feeling the way that I'm feeling. You get
Yeah.
it. And the thing is about it, that's one of the, I feel as if more people don't get the help that they need because people really empathizing is a muscle that needs to be built purely. The only reason that I had the ability to empathize with people on a really high level was because when I was a kid and I was dealing with all the trauma that I was going through, the thing I always thought about was, one, how I was so alone. How come no one gets it? No one gets me. No one understands me. No one can see me. And then the people who actually put forth the effort to understand me, those are the people who had the biggest impact on me, even if they didn't fully get it. But they just tried and they kept trying to understand and they walked with me on this. Um, because the thing is, even with me, like I don't want people to feel sympathy that like, oh, this millionaire or whatever guy who you're so sad because you're a millionaire and you did everything you wanted. Like, no, I don't like no, I don't feel sad for me. Don't feel sad for me. I just want you to understand why someone could feel the way that they're feeling going through these things because it'll be important for you to know because you're dealing with people just like me in your daily life all the time, going through major things. And if you could just empathize, you could create in better environments. You could help those people heal because I tell you, it doesn't. It's just like my daughter in the soccer. It doesn't take much to help someone just that little perspective change, and you can give that to them by just be willing to listen and not listen to just tell them some phenomenal advice or tell them what you think. Just really hearing them, and all you're doing is just taking the time to really understand them. And then when you got the picture, you relay back to them, I'm seeing this. Is that true? And then when you get to that point where you got a clear picture, advice and all that other crap, okay. But you've taken the time to really understand me. Now I'm more opened up to even listen to you because most people don't care about anything outside of themselves. That's just life. It's hard to get out of yourself. It's very difficult. And let's be real, it's real out here. It's
It
hard.
is. It is.
There's a lot of things to be worried about. There's a lot of great things, but it's both. So you can help so many people in your life if you just spend the time to just try to understand them. Because it's so tough. We're like planets floating in the solar system, just wishing someone could see us for what we are. And that's why I make sure I spend that extra time with people, with whoever I talk to, because I want to be heard. So I do the things that I would do with other people to make sure that they feel heard too. Um, it's all about connection. Connection is that one thing that we're all wanting and needing as human beings, but it's hard to build it if you can't empathize for how someone's seeing things and why they would be seeing things the way that they're seeing them.
Oh, dude, I appreciate you, dude.
Mhm.
Dude, from the bottom of my heart, man, this has been so good. Um, I'm mad at myself because I forgot my pen over there on the other side of the room. Normally, I'm taking notes, but dude, I do this show not just so that everybody else can get some good value out of it, but so that I can get value out of it. And some of the lessons that I learned, we're talking about empathy, we're talking about being an advocate and speaking up and that being cathartic, just doing that and just seeing the way that you move, what you represent, man. From the bottom of my heart, bro, thank you. I consider you and the people that do the good work that you do, I consider y'all to be heroes. So, and I know that the folks in the chat room, they're going crazy. I can see all the chats from all the different platforms, bro. You made a difference today. And dude, what can we get that book? Because I know they want to know where could they get that book? Because I want it.
Okay, awesome.
Send it to me. I want to buy it.
Oh, yeah, I got you. So
All right.
it's on Amazon right now. That's where it's being sold. And also my
Wait, say
course.
that again. Don't go past that. Say it
Oh
again.
yeah, it's on Amazon. You can check it out on Amazon. The
Bestseller.
game within the game. And,
Come on, bro.
and then my course, you can check it out at the Knowledge and Innovation Center in Forbes Business School. It's a college accredited course. So even if you're a student athlete, you can get college credit for taking the course. Some of that is not trying, you got to, as far as like legal stuff, it's transferable to most universities. You got to check because every state is different when it comes to things, but it definitely applies to most states. And so definitely go check that out. And yeah, I think that's it.
See, I'm looking this up on Amazon right now. Not being a good host, I was trying to find the link. There it is.
Yeah, before I forget too. So also, so yeah, I was a speaker at TEDx, but I'm also an organizer. So one of the things I wanted to ask you is, would you want to do a TEDx?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
I'm putting
dude.
you on the spot. I was going to ask you off air, but now I'm just like, well, now I'm gonna put you on the spot because you got to have you on.
Yeah, God brought us together, bro. I'm looking at my board, and that's actually one of the things on our dream list is to do a TEDx. So yeah, dude, definitely that would be amazing.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We can talk about it off air. I'll give you specifics, but would love to have you on. You're exactly you need to do this. So
yeah,
I'm peer pressuring you.
no, I love it, man. And dude, and I enjoyed listening to your TED talk, dude. You're a beautiful speaker. You speak from the heart. One thing that the speakers that I like, they talk about them. You know, they talk about the things that they're going through, the things that they went through, the things that they're really still struggling with. They don't have this like holier than thou type of deal. And I love your message. So yeah, dude, anything that you got going on and you need me to help out with, man, I'll definitely support it, especially with the TED Talk, man. Again, bro, from the bottom of my heart, bro, I appreciate you. I love the work that you're doing. Is good work. You inspire me. I want to do some more work to help because it's definitely needed. Thanks for putting it on my radar. I'm about to say on my radio. Hey man, dude, I said 30 minutes, man, but we're hitting an hour. So again, thanks, and I apologize for going over, but dude, just talking to you is refreshing. So, dude, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, no problem. And my apologies for sweating the entire interview. I promise I'm not nervous. I'm just under the weather. So
Oh no, I know you ain't nervous, man. I seen some of your interviews. Yeah, dude, when I get sick, it's almost like I got the flu. It looked like I'm dying almost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been so tired. I've been in the bed all day.
Oh man, and you got up to hang out with the Leaders Lead audience, man. I appreciate that, bro.
Had to.
But yeah, man, thank you. It's been real. I appreciate you. Don't go nowhere. For the viewers, for the listeners, thank you for hanging out with us. Make sure that you go and cop Reggie's book. What's the name of the book again?
The Game Within the Game.
The Game Within the Game. I'm pretty sure, I'm going to guarantee it that it's going to be good. The book is going to be good because my brother Reggie Walker is good. Check out the book. When you buy it, make sure you let him know that you heard about him on Leaders Lead the podcast. We're streaming every single Thursday and Friday, 5 p.m. We're bringing amazing people just like Reggie. I think that's all I got. You got something else for us, Reggie?
Nope. Thanks for listening, and thanks everybody for your comments. And this has been amazing, Tony. Thank you for having me on. It's been a blessing.
All right, thank you. And we are out. Whew, that was great. If you enjoyed this podcast, well, I'm sure you enjoyed it. If you're still here with us, what I want you to do is head over to your favorite podcast and streaming network and give us a download, subscribe to the channel, and also let us know what you think about the show. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you for the things that you've done. Thank you for the things that you're doing. And especially thank you for the things that you're going to do because I know that you're going to do something amazing. We ain't going nowhere. Nah, y'all take care. Bye.